Well, today's the day. I finally got a bunch of the parts in for the open source Segway frame. I've got a bunch of aluminum extrusion. I've got 20/20, some 30/30, a bunch of different lengths. And then I've got a bunch of actual mounting hardware. So we've got the screws, the bolts, a bunch of corner brackets. The goal for this video is to actually get the full frame put together. I'm gonna get the square base, the handlebar mounted. I wanna get the actual wheels attached to the hoverboard motors and mounted onto the frame. And hopefully even put on the plexiglass cover, which I have coming in hopefully in another few days here. Sent that out to get laser cut, so that should be pretty cool. I've got my little just technical drawing of a couple of my lengths to make sure I know the exact size. I need to cut this guy down. But yeah, let's get started. This is huge. All right, so let's start getting some cuts down. I've got to measure out a couple different lengths on this 30/30 extrusion. See, I've got two 400 millimeters, two 600 millimeters, and I gotta get it out of these two pieces. I should have enough, as long as I did my math right. This guy, it's 100 centimeters, so I'll start marking this guy off. I think, actually, let's go with the bigger one. How long is this one? 250 centimeters. So I think if I start marking off pieces, we should be good here. So let's do the two 600s first. There's one at 60, one at 120. Actually, it's right there. And then I need another 400 millimeter. All right, I also need to cut out, I think, three 340 millimeter lengths of the 20/20. So let's just start kind of marking that off. This guy is another 100 centimeters, so we'll just start chopping as we go. Okay, there we go. That should be the cuts that I need to make. So let's go do that. One down, like 8 to go. All right, so we've got all our pieces, we got them cut, filed down a little bit. Let's start putting the actual base frame together. So I think we just gotta go ahead and get started with that. Should go like this. Yeah. That's gonna be a pretty good size Segway. Feet go right here, forward, back. I like it. Okay, so let's start to get the L brackets mounted so this thing can actually get held together. It's all just with some T-nuts and these little guys right here. So these guys are what should hold the frame together. Let us see. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. All right, let's put it all together. I think I'm just going to use 3 of the screws and the T-nuts per L bracket. I don't want to put everything in together right now because I'm probably going to have to take it all apart for the final assembly, but we'll see. For now, this would be a good little start. Just make sure everything's all nice and flush, and let's tighten this. It's gonna be so cool. Oh my goodness, look at this. I am so excited for this. This is like the perfect size. I think I nailed the size. It's bigger than it needs to be, but it's gonna give me a whole lot of room for the battery, all the electronics. You got the wheels that are gonna come out to here. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, so now I want to actually mount the handlebar. So just to kind of get a visual idea of what it's gonna look like. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So I think the handlebars might be a little short because you figure I'm going to be standing basically this tall on top of it. And it's like right to my belly button. It's like right here. So it may be fine. I mean, I'll make it work, but if I ever need to, I'll just extend this. So, haha! All right. So now let's start to get the actual like motors and the wheels mounted to this guy. So, all right, let's do it. All right, now it's time to move over to the motor mounts and the actual wheels. So as you can see, I've actually done one already. It's already hooked up with the 3D printed parts to the hoverboard motor and the wheel. It's holding decently well. Like I said, I think in the last video, I'm probably gonna have to redesign these. They're just kind of a test. I don't think the 3D print's gonna hold up, but we're gonna go ahead and get the other one done. So let's get the other one printed, and then let's come on back. Okay, so we got our 3D print parts done. So let's go ahead and start building this thing. We're gonna need to take apart the motor. We're gonna need to drill into the actual hub itself, and then we need to get everything mounted and attached to the wheel. Let's get to it. These screws are so rusted in, I'm gonna have to drill them out. So let's go do that. When you drill them out like this, the actual cap of the screw will just snap off. Time to get the tire off. Yes! The key is to line up the old holes with the ones I'm going to drill now, so wish me luck. You also need to make sure that the actual wheel is going to be on axes with the tire. So I'm trying to get this as center as possible. Should I probably make a rig to get it perfectly? Yes. Will I? Not a chance. Four dots, 4 holes to drill. Let's get to it. All right, so now that we got everything drilled out and opened up, let's go ahead and start taking off the old hardware for the wheel and putting on the new hardware. I've got these just 1/4 inch, 2.5 inch long bolts that are not magnetic. so they shouldn't interfere with the actual magnets in here. So make sure this is cleaned out a little bit before we do the final assembly. Make sure we don't have any gunk in there. But yeah, let's get started. First steps first is take the old hardware off this wheel. Cool part about this wheel is when you take these screws out, or bolts rather, the actual hub just comes across apart in two pieces. So nothing too crazy there. Okay, cool. Now that we have it disassembled, let's go ahead and discard this piece with the actual bearing. And all we need is the small half of this. Cool. So we want to go ahead and put the bolts into this guy. So I'm going to give it a quick air blast real quick, try to get any gunk out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going with it. If I line these up right, they should just slide right in. Boom, just like that. It'd be easier if the screwdriver was not magnetic. All right, that's on there nice and tight, not too bad. It's looking pretty good. It's looking like a pretty solid wheel. All right, so now what we want to do is we actually are going to need to take this to the grinder. There's a little lip on here which my motor mount parts did not account for. They are meant for just the semicircular shape. This has full circular and then has a little cutout right there. So we're just gonna grind that down. All right, we got that ground down now, so it should fit into our 3D printed parts. Let's go ahead and give this a little blast with some air, just kind of get any little loose particles out of there. It's not gonna get all of it out, but we'll give it a shot. And then let's finish up the assembly. We're pretty much done, so let's just roll with it. All right, that is motor assembled and mounted onto wheels. So let's get it on the 3D printed parts. And we need to put some threaded inserts into these guys, melt those in real quick. Then we can get this attached to the frame. So let's do that. All right, threaded inserts are melted in. Let's go ahead and get this mounted to the actual frame. So here's hoping everything goes smoothly. All right, let's get the motor pressed into these guys, and that is it. Get the handlebars reassembled, and we got ourselves the frame of a Segway. Butter. All right, let's go ahead and just screw into these threaded inserts just to kind of grip it in there and call it a day. Right, so there is still quite a bit to do. I need to get the top plate, which I sent off and is getting laser cut currently, so it should be here end of next week. And then also need to mount the actual support beams for when I stand. Those actually, unfortunately, I bought the wrong mounting hardware. So that's also been bought and is on its way. But yeah, so the next video for this is actually probably gonna be either doing the battery with the lithium ion cells or probably testing out the motors with the O drive. I'm not really sure which. I'm kind of itching to dig into some software, so I think we might go to that first. But yeah, as far as the little frame goes, I'm pretty happy with this thing. Obviously, I'll be up here, a little scared to stand on it right now. I have a strong suspicion that these motor mounts are not gonna last. I think they're already starting to crack a little bit. So I'm gonna redesign that. I'll probably do it off camera and then just do a little video about the parts or just include them in one of the next videos. I'm kind of thinking what I'll do is try to incorporate a way of actually drilling into the aluminum extrusion. I'm really not sure yet. Basically, I just don't want to have all the weight on a part that I designed. I'd rather it actually be, my weight be supported by the actual extrusion itself, because then it's distributed across the whole thing. Yeah, but I'm pretty darn excited about this. It moves pretty well, look at that. And I think, just given how big the wheels are and where the mass is gonna be in the center, obviously I don't have these lined up perfectly well, but I think it's gonna be pretty easy to balance. Throw a little PID loop on there, I think we're gonna be pretty solid. All right, well, if you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah, I'll be putting out another video very soon, so stay tuned. All the parts and the equipment, so like the nuts and bolts, all the stuff that I used for this build, I'll put in the description. There'll be a little BOM, and yeah, so hope you enjoyed it. Thanks guys, bye.